Welcome Pisces to your January 2020 reading. Guys, Happy New Year's. Welcome back to anyone who's already part of this incredible community that we're building. And guys, so much respect, so many thank yous. Guys, you are awesome. Your likes, your shares, your comments, above and beyond anything. In the comments, the sharing of your journeys, of your experiences and the way in which you are supporting one another, I am blown away. I reply to as many comments as I can, but obviously there is, only a certain number I can do. But I check them out, I look at them. Wow, guys, you are just inspirational. So thank you so much. Anyone that is new to this wonderful and incredible community, I'm going to say our community of spiritual warriors, that's what we are about. We are about learning to navigate life from a position of empowerment through awareness. We seek guidance, we learn to listen. So very amazing community is all I can say. Just check out the comments and you'll discover how amazing people are here. I'm Jenny Florence. I do big monthly readings and also weekly readings for guidance and direction. And I put a lot of free resources into the world, so do check out the information box below. You'll be able to find out any of those things there, including I offer a free private reading to one of my subscribers. I draw a name out of a hat every month. But guys, let's check in on the astrology. And also let's just touch base with this angel. I was drawn to a honey calcite angel. Honey calcite is an extraordinary energy. It's like, for me, it's like the energy of the hero and the heroine within ourselves. It has the energy of leadership, of stepping up within ourselves, being our best, being the best version of who we are. It's an energy that helps us to overcome obstacles, to persevere through the ups and downs of life. It also really aids recovery. If we're coming out of a toxic or a difficult or a challenging situation, it helps us on that road to recovery. Astrologically, Saturn and Pluto come together in January on the 7th. I mean, these two major players have been, I think the energy of them has been, I want to say, sort of wreaking havoc a little bit, but they're calling for change. And whether that's globally, in our communities, nationally, politically, or within ourselves, structures are being called into question. And within ourselves, on our journey, on our pathway as spiritual warriors, our pathway of ever increasing awareness and consciousness, we are called to notice any systems, any belief patterns, any thinking patterns, any autopilot responses within us that are no longer serving us. So this is a big time, bang in the middle of eclipse season. We have a full moon lunar eclipse on the 10th of January. Eclipses are like, it's like a full moon on steroids. So a really amazing opportunity to let go of actually anything that is no longer serving us. Very good month for mindful thinking, to really take charge of our own direction, which is also pretty fab astrologically, but it's pretty fab for a new year. So let's move our honey calcite angel up here and check in with the runes. That's two coming through. Our first rune is the rune of movement, followed by the rune of the self. The rune of movement, the bettering of any situation. It's a slow, steady, gradual, it's like a consistent and persistent move forwards. So it's not big results quickly, but it's a steady move forwards, and it is the bettering of any situation. The self would suggest that you guys are involved in processing something within yourselves. There's something, that's what I'm hearing, some kind of phase of your own growth, your own evolution, and it is, the energy in January is certainly suggesting that it begins to move forwards. Okay, we have the rune of defense. This is interesting. Ooh, 3 runes. We have the rune of strength, the rune of growth, the rune of disruption, and the rune of initiation. Wow, guys, that's a powerful, powerful process, and all about your own evolution. Now, defense. The rune of defense means that it's like we're developing an aversion to things that don't really resonate with us. Things that we might have sort of tolerated before, we become a little less tolerant to them. The rune of growth, Berkana, is about new beginnings. It's about new opportunities, windows of opportunity. It's a time to sow seeds. It's a time for new growth to emerge. There's some sort of cycle within yourselves. That's what I'm hearing. It's something that connects quite profoundly to your own sense of identity. It's as if you are on some kind of evolutionary trajectory. Trying to make that word right, but hopefully you know what I mean. A pathway, that's an easier way of saying it. You're on your own pathway of evolution, but it is a trajectory of some sort. It's like your awareness is becoming heightened. Your sensitivity in relation to your awareness is becoming heightened. Things that aren't working, you really know they're not working. That you might find yourself being a little less tolerant of certain people, certain situations. But this is creating growth. It's creating new growth, new opportunities. And the rune of disruption speaks of the need to break free from something, the need to let go of something. Now, this sort of cycle that I'm hearing you guys connecting in with, that's what I'm hearing, some kind of internal process of evolution. The rune of disruption, sometimes it's a sudden light bulb moment. It's like an awakening. I liken this rune to Uranus, the planet, the great awakener, the planet of the great awakening, clearing away the old for the new. But sometimes this rune is a little bit more pervasive. Sometimes its openings come through what I would call a steady realization, slow and steady awareness. It's like you notice something. It sort of sits with you. It simmers. It filters. You process. You become aware of something else. It simmers. It processes. It's like it's this gradual movement to the point where you know that you see something with clarity. This rune is also, it speaks of the phoenix rising from the ashes, of the eagle soaring above, having that extraordinary power of vision, seeing the bigger picture. So it's a very evolutionary rune. It leads to this phase of initiation. The initiation speaks of something that's hidden. Now, it doesn't mean somebody is hiding something from you. It's more like a process of your own evolution, particularly in response to your spiritual journey, your evolution as a spiritual warrior, as a soul within the human experience, moving into higher levels of consciousness and awareness. The learning is not readily shared, or not easily shared. That's a better way of saying it. We might want to share things, but not everybody can hear where we're at. If you undergo real, what I would call downloads of illumination, insight, not everybody is on the same accelerated growth path. I mean, that happens to us all at different times in our lives, and so not everybody will get what you're saying. It's not easy to explain our spiritual journey to others, I think. You know, the evolution of that, the process of our awareness, it's something that is felt and known within us rather than something that we can always verbally share. So, very powerful energy and yet it's gentle, it's pervasive. Let's draw from one of the tarot packs and inquire as to how January will be. Okay, so something that has been stuck gets to be moved. You're ready to look at it. You see it for what it is. This is this ever evolving. You know, I'm doing this recording in December, and some of you will be checking in with it before January. But you know, guys, wherever you are with this, I suspect you even if you're looking at this in December, and obviously this is a January reading, I think you already have an inkling as to what this is about. It's just that during January, I think you gain a clarity. You look at it more clearly. You're able to really almost like stare it in the face. You see it for what it is. But it's an awakening, and it moves something forwards. Certainly energetically moves something forwards. I'm laughing, chuckling, because you then have the Wheel of Fortune. Yeah, it does shift and move forwards. It never ceases to amaze me that when we shift the energy within us, we shift our external world starts to shift as well. There is something about you, your acknowledgement and your validation of whatever aspect of your life it is, whatever aspect of your own personal evolution we're talking about. It moves forwards because you see it for what it is. And this is a good shift. This is a good shift forwards. Four of Cups. I always think of this card as Cinderella and the Ugly Sisters. It's kind of like they're gearing her. They're trying to incite her to do something. They're trying to get her to do something, to inquire, to say something, to step out of her comfort zone. So it's like, and within that process of discovery, her world changes. It's almost like she sits in sort of blissful ignorance, and then she shifts to a space. That's what I'm actually hearing. It's this defense, this aversion. It's kind of almost like, I think this month you genuinely become very aware of something. But you become aware of it in a way that has clarity. So rather than an awareness of something that gives you grief, or you feel uneasy, or you're not sure what to do about it, something comes to your awareness. And even if the way it comes to your awareness is, I'm going to say, slightly difficult, like somebody could say something to you and their intention in telling you may not even have been motivated by the best reasons, but you know what? It brings what you need. It brings you the information. So there's something around, I think something has maybe been feeling like it's, I won't say exactly stuck. That's not the flavour. I'm not getting a stuck feeling. I'm getting a resistant feeling, like there's some resistance, or something hasn't been, it doesn't feel specifically stuck, but somehow it's slightly been going round in circles or edging forwards, but not really happening. I think it's almost like something festering. It's a weird word to use, I know, but I feel as though something has been, I'll say festering and also simmering, because I think it will be different for each of you. For some of you, the festering will really connect. But for others, it will just seem as though something has been simmering for a while. And it's like you're prepared to look at it, to bring it to the boil, look at it and decide what you're going to do with it. That's the gist of this reading. Wonderful. It creates a new beginning. It creates opportunity for new beginnings. Ace of Cups. New vitality. New growth. This is really connecting in with the rune Berkana of growth. This rune is symbolised by the birch tree. It's the first tree to reseed itself after a forest fire. It's new growth. It's the beginning of a forest. It's the beginning of something that is bigger. It is all about new life, new opportunities. When we can't acknowledge something, we can't actually fix it. If we can't acknowledge something, we can't validate how we feel or work out how to move through it and to navigate. This is a month where something, I think you really do, you look at it, you see it clearly, it shifts the energy. And as a consequence, I think you also might find this card for me is speaking of various meanings. It may be that somebody tells you something that helps to consolidate your perspective. It may also be that you find you're not the only one that has a particular viewpoint. You're not the only one that is seeing something in a particular way. But it leads to new beginnings. Something gets opened up. We're actually going to continue drawing from the same pack, I'm hearing. Ace of Swords. I'm going to say, I think you may have to be quite decisive. 2 aces, very powerful. 4 of cups, it's the breaking of a situation. I don't mean breaking, negatively breaking it open, seeing it for what it is. And that allows you to take action. You may be called to make to be quite decisive, or to be very clear. Have a clear voice. If you need to have a voice, be very clear about what it is you're needing to say and why you're needing to say it. 5 of Wands. I love this. It's the moving forwards of something. It's kind of like you get to slay the dragon, basically. Whatever's been simmering, it comes to a head in January at some point. Now, that doesn't surprise me with the astrology around eclipse season. Things can happen very quickly, stuff can take place. It's like a portal of energy that moves things forwards. So if anything's stuck, it's a magical opportunity to shift it. And combined with the Saturn-Pluto collaboration coming together on the 7th of January, that whole kind of period around, I guess from about the 5th through till about the 12th of January, very powerful time to be embracing. If you want to make changes, basically, really good time to step up and initiate stuff. It's, particularly on the basis of shifting anything that has been simmering, that isn't really serving, anything that's not really working properly, and finding a way to do it in a way that nurtures the new into being. Okay, we have the moon. Now, the moon is a card for me. It's like initiation. It's a rite of passage. It can indicate a restlessness, a need to break free from something, again, things irritating and we're needing to respond. But it can also suggest that we have to, it's kind of like we pass through the shadows before we emerge into the light. It's that kind of a rite of passage. But there's a real invitation in this card to, it's almost like to look at our own shadow, to look at, what are our fears? Are they really founded? Are they really grounded in reality? Or are we just afraid of doing something or of saying something because that's what we've learned? So again, leadership, being your own hero, your own heroine. You don't have to do it dramatically, but it's about listening to yourself above and beyond anything. What do you really need from this situation? What is it that needs to be moved forwards? What is it that you need to be clear about? There's no fear in the 5 of Wands. It's like you slay the dragon, you face the dragon. It's like almost a move on from the Hanged Man for me. These cards together indicate a shift forwards. But there is a little bit of anxiety around it. I hear that. The key here, I think, is really trusting your own intuition. Trust your intuition. It's not going to lie to you. Our mind, we can always get embroiled in the what-if thinking patterns, or the just the stuff of our head, the ego stuff, the worries, the self-doubt, all the things that we grow up with because it's part of the human experience. But you know what? Your heart will never lie to you. So, listen to your heart. So we're going to draw from one of the other tarot packs now. Oh, this is magnificent. I love this card. Princess of Wands. This is emotional freedom. It's like she has cut cords with the tiger of fear. She bit the bullet. She's discovered that she doesn't have to be held back by those perceptions of the shoulds and the shouldn'ts, the things that used to hold her back. She has emotional freedom. She dances the dance of liberation. I feel like you guys overcome something this month. Now, that feels very appropriate given the astrology and given that it's a new year, and New Year's we make New Year resolutions. If we recognise a resolution is ultimately an intention, when we make a resolution, we set an intention, sometimes not to do something anymore, to give something up. Sometimes it is to do something, or to welcome something in, or to become more available or open to something, to receiving something. So one way or the other, resolutions and New Year's are very much about intention setting. And I feel you guys shift something within you. It's something that's been... There's something in you that's been holding you back, or the residue of something that's been clinging. And I think this simmering situation, it's been simmering anyway. And ultimately, you know, we're not in charge of anyone else or anybody else's worlds. We're only in charge of our own kind of conscious choice and free will. I feel as though you overcome something, you recognize something within you. That's this movement. And it's almost as though this simmering situation calls you to step up into this sort of higher, bigger, better version of you. Yes, internal changes, the Tower. And again, emotional freedom, emotional liberation, the Princess of Cups. To have the Princess of Wands and the Princess of Cups suggests a lot of what I would call new vitality, new life energy, new growth, new opportunity. It's like you free yourselves from something. And that allows you to kind of embrace the possibility of change, but it comes from the inside out. I've no doubt it will have an impact on whatever is going on around you in your worlds, in your own unique individual ways. But the real depth of change sits within. Lovely. The card of virtue. This is like an affirmation. It's an affirmation that is put to you in a question. Do you still doubt yourself? Yeah, sitting under the Ace of Cups, new possibilities next to the moon, restlessness, seeking, wanting more, desiring change, but maybe worrying. I mean, when we desire change, we move into a space of uncertainty for a little while. That's part of change. We can never know how something will be till we get there. But as human beings, we inherently worry about these things, and it presses the buttons of self-doubt. The card of virtue, an affirmation, do you still doubt yourself? It questions. And there is an asking to release any aspect of self-doubt. Again, if you guys are interested in the astrology and you're interested in ceremonies of letting go, full moon eclipse in Cancer, anything that holds you back from your own self-care, really, really good time to be cutting cords, letting go of any emotional blocks. So I'm going to draw from the Art of Manifestation cards next. It's a big month for these cards. The very first limited edition print of these cards goes into circulation at some point in January. These are very powerful cards. Every one of these cards carries a message that at some point I have personally been given, whether that's through a channeling, in meditation, guidance, signals, signs, or in sittings. And I know that in my own life there are times I've needed really direct, clear information, and I've always made a note of them, and that is, these cards are the outcome of that very clear information. And as I said, they go live as a celebration of that. I will be holding a few packs back from this first limited edition run, and I will be drawing names of subscribers out of a hat at the end of January, so yeah, watch out for that announcement at the beginning of February. Okay guys, we have a card, Let Go Gracefully. Something in your life is calling for you to let it go. Let go gracefully. Whatever has taken place in the past, it is time to move forwards, and letting go will make way for the new. Whether this is a person, a situation, an outdated thought or behaviour pattern, this card comes to assure you that new horizons are waiting for you. Very clear message. As I said, these cards carry very clear messages. I actually think for some of you guys, it's not only some kind of a thought or behaviour pattern within you. I think there's something that's been going on around you that's simmering, that also kind of presses some buttons and taps into that thought pattern. And that's where the change comes from within. If we shift any kind of element of self-doubt, it shifts the energy and it gives us the power, decisiveness, enthusiasm, passion, to be able to then make choices and decisions that shift the external circumstances or shift our relationship to the external circumstances as well, if that makes sense. Allow yourself to receive. One of the greatest blocks in our ability to manifest our greatest desires is an inability to allow ourselves to receive. This card asks that you take some time to identify any inner beliefs, perceptions and attitudes that stop you from receiving, and one by one remove these resistances. That's the inner change. I love that. That sits here underneath. Look at the sort of the way these cards are sitting. We have the Hanged Man. It's like we look at something, we see it for what it is. We take clear, decisive actions. We hold our intentions. We create internal change. We have opportunity for new beginnings. We listen to the restlessness and we take action. The Princess of Cups, emotional freedom. We're liberated. The Wheel of Fortune shifts. Stuff comes to light. But it helps us. We can step up and overcome anything internally that holds us back. Very powerful month for you guys, but in such a positive and empowering way. And I love this card, Nurture. Whenever we sow seeds, however much we yearn to see them grow, we cannot force them to develop any quicker than nature will allow. But we can provide them with the best possible conditions to grow. Whatever you have initiated in your life, this card is here to encourage you. Be patient and nurture your relationship, idea, project with love. That for me is really rubber stamping this process of change. And the key centrally to this is, I want to say, self-care is not an act of selfishness, it is an act of consciousness. You know, when you really take an ownership, and I don't mean empowerment in terms of power over others, I mean really nurturing yourselves, trusting your intuition, listening to yourselves, taking your yearnings seriously, allowing yourselves to have a voice, even if it's only having a voice with yourself so you're clear about what you want. So guys, I am going to draw from the Archangel pack. Ah, this is lovely. Sensitivity. Archangel Haniel, you are extra sensitive to energies and emotions right now. Honour yourself and your feelings. I really want to say every Pisces I know, this applies to them at the moment. Neptune in Pisces, I mean, well guys, it's like you get massive downloads of illumination and insight, but they're so big you can feel swamped and out at sea. There's a need to remain anchored, and also a need to recognise you are ultra sensitive to energy at the moment, which means, you know, even more than usual, put it that way, which means you're highly absorbent. So again, carry protection around you. If you're struggling, in fact, you know, I would suggest you carry white quartz. If you need to repel negative energy that's around you, white quartz is marvellous for that. But take charge of it. Honey calcite. This allows you to recover from challenging situations, to overcome obstacles. Sensitivity, just be aware of your sensitivity and honour it. Your emotions aren't negative, they're telling you something. Love this passion. Archangel Haniel, trust and follow your renewed passion in your love life and career. This is really tuning into the Ace of Cups here. Whatever area of life is needing to be revitalized. Obviously, I speak a lot about energy, but whatever area of your lives is needing to be revitalized, whatever you're moving through in your own evolution of awareness, it's that awareness, that knowledge that allows you to let go of anything within you that holds you back, and to re-find passion, vitality, aliveness. Let go if there are things that are no longer serving you. Allow yourself to receive and nurture. This, it feels like a new growth. Nurture those new sprouts, those new sources of opportunity that are surfacing. This is renewed passion, renewed vitality. And just to wrap up our reading, I'm going to draw 2 cards from the Moonology pack. Your hard work is paying off. Wonderful. Again, real lovely card of validation and affirmation. A win-win outcome is forecast. Again, really lovely energy. I do feel you guys are going through this transition, this evolutionary transition that connects to your very sense of who you are, your own identity. I think it's been going on a while, but there's a real shift, or there's the potential for the energy to support a real shift. It's like you turn a corner. That's what it feels like. And I'm not saying that situations will resolve themselves, but what I'm saying is you yourselves turn a corner, which then allows you to embrace the navigation of your lives from a different position. There's new vitality, new life, but you do need to nurture yourselves. So Pisces, Pisces rising, Moon in Pisces, anyone cross-watching, thank you so much for joining me for this reading. So much love to you guys, and I look forward to seeing you for other readings. And yeah, do check in with the weekly readings that I put up usually every Sunday for weekly guidance and direction as we navigate life's challenges, the ups and downs of life, the amazing stuff and sometimes the more difficult stuff. I mean, that is the pathway of the spiritual warrior. So much love to you guys.